Hey guys, my name is Marco Barrios. Welcome back to my channel. Today I will be talking about something that I'm so happy to finally be able to say, at least halfway through. I am halfway through reading the Lord of the Rings trilogy. If you know me, if you don't know me, I'll help you get to know me a little bit. I'm a very big, huge Lord of the Rings fan. That is a poster of The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies, and at the very bottom, mid to top right, I got it signed by Peter Jackson. Long story short, it's gonna be a decade now come this October, November. I was one of the lucky 12 US winners to win what was called the Hobbit Fan Fellowship Contest, which were for the Battle of the Five Armies premiere. They decided, like, you know what, we're gonna give all of these fans like travel to New Zealand for a week, and we got to see the Battle of the Five Armies before it was released worldwide. So you could say that, yeah, I'm a fan. That being said, my first introduction to Middle-earth was through my friends. They were like, oh my god, you gotta check the Lord of the Rings out. And I used to collect a lot of Blu-ray films, and so I saw one time that it was on sale at Best Buy for I think 50 bucks, the trilogy extended editions on Blu-ray in a pack. I went to Best Buy, bought it, and I downed them in 2 days. 2 of the greatest days of my life. Holy crap, it was just amazing. And well, I've been a huge fan ever since, through the music, through the actors, through the films, through the Hobbit films, through that medium. However, I had only read The Hobbit up to that point. I have tried reading The Lord of the Rings, but the farthest I ever got must have been like easily 5-6 years ago, and it's been, wow, what a journey. I can't believe that I definitely waited so long to just bite into this. I don't know, it's weird also. I'm just realizing that I'm so excited for something that's easily, I don't know, these books came out in the 50s, I think, so something that's easily around 70 years old. This is not to compare book and film, but definitely it is an experience that I suppose, and I would imagine it's not just unique to me. I think that's part of the beauty of movies and TV shows, and shorter to consume, better said. It opens up, like, if you're interested in a certain topic, in a certain subject, then it'll lead you to keep going into something else. Like, if you, I don't know, if you ever saw a beautiful plate someplace, you'd be like, wow, that's a gorgeous plate. And then, like, did you know about the world of fine china? Jumping into this, from my experience, guys, there's no difference as far as, like, there's a lot of walking. I feel like we are in an age where we're so much, there is so much visual stimuli that, well, then we don't exercise as much other parts of what we can work with, which is kind of the imaginative, the intangible. I read this, and to me it's a huge exercise, especially as someone who has now been really putting themselves into their songwriting career, as far as consistently and constantly writing. Then it is my job as the reader in between, not just as an avid Middle-earth fan, but as, well, as a songwriter, what can I take from this? There's certain phrases that, in the same way, there's a common sort of tip for songwriters, which is always like, be on the lookout with your ears as to things that people say, because that could very well turn into the phrase of a song. In reading Catching Fire, the second book in the Hunger Games trilogy, I always remember this one part where Katniss, she's going through the games, and she wakes up and she notices that she's like been scratching at herself all night long, and the author goes, the fingers were caked in blood. No other sentence in the book, I mean, I remember the stories, but that way of expressing things. And even right now, I'm just reading from a few nights ago, there was something that here that Tolkien, that he described it in a way that also just stood out to me so strongly. Sam and Frodo, this was the Two Towers, they separated from the company, they're kind of lost but finding their way through this unknown land, and there's this strong gust of wind. Sam heard him and crawled with an effort to the edge. Master, master, he called, master. He heard no answer. He thought he was shaking all over, but he gathered his breath, and once again he shouted, Master! The wind seemed to blow his voice back into his throat. It was that. The wind seemed to blow his voice back into his throat. Do you know how strong a wind has to be to throw your voice back into your throat? I mean, I just imagine it, and it's so guttural, and it's escaping me. It's very vivid. And this kind of goes back to what I experienced a little bit with Speak Now, which, as I mentioned in my other video, which is my imagination is just running at an extreme height, you're using the senses to your power. So there's no film here. I don't remember, I wouldn't be able to remember this at all from the films because it didn't happen, right? Yet you are using the power of word to really bring things to you. So I suppose you could say that in my experience in reading so far, transitioning into now, okay, you know the story because you were told by this person. This is now like, oh, let me tell you what it's actually about, which is kind of another point that I wanted to make, which is there's always three sides to every story: yours, mine, and the truth. So there's, for example, Peter Jackson's version of the story. Then there's my version of the story, which is everything that I know about the subject. And then there's actually the truth. That all being said, I think this has been a huge exercise for me as to like keep finding out the truth. Kind of like when you hear about the news, like, oh, I heard, did you hear about what happened over there in the world? Like, no, this is what I heard. Like, guys, we gotta keep digging until you don't reach that point of satisfaction. You gotta keep finding out the truth and fighting for it. And I could have lived very happily with just having known, oh, well, the movies exist and that's that. And that's the case for a lot of movies or mediums that we consume. They're often based off adapted screenplays. The Lord of the Rings, Anna Karenina. I mean, there's so many, Pride and Prejudice, I could just keep going. But we don't always take the time to read these things. It's just been a wonderful journey to definitely see the truth of it for what it is. I understand, and I'm not taking away or criticizing the choices that were made for the other mediums, because there's a reason why things are omitted or added, because every medium has a different science, it's got a different pace, it's got a different behavior, if you will. And not everything that can be done here can be done over there, as much as we may want to. As a songwriter, as a creator, it's just definitely gaining from the perspective. It is putting my mind to such work. Yes, there are times where I definitely can kind of see the movie playing itself here, which, as fun as it is to find out how things were, I would also encourage, if there's any book that you know of that you've not yet seen a movie for, that you know exists, the chances of you definitely enjoying the content, read the book first and then watch the movie. That way you can exercise your imagination. Definitely my imagination is going all over the place, but not for the reasons that I thought it would. The description of the landscape and even the succession of like how they get from here to there, but I know that they get from point A to point B. So my mind and my imagination are still being exercised, but just not in the ways that, at least not in each way that I can. Mind you, we're not robots in that like I first gotta read and then watch a movie. Just do things as you will. You will still be able to enjoy this very much. I'm very excited to continue through the rest of this journey. Is there not a part of me that kind of regrets a little bit not having read it first? Sure, but I can't go back in time now. All I can do is go through it and exercise my mind as much as possible. So I encourage you all to do that. It's still a great story of persevering, for sure. You know, we're only halfway through the journey, but everybody, there's these values of friendship and fellowship that permeate the book, and that you feel them. People are separated through leagues, as they will say in the book, but they're true to one another. And it's just, I want my music to definitely be imbued with the morals and the values that are found in this book. I don't think it's safe for me to keep on talking about things that have yet to happen. It can be a lot, but it's worthwhile every second. Let me know what you think. Let me know what your experience in reading The Lord of the Rings was like first. Did you watch the movies first and then read the books, or did you read the books first and then watch the movies? Did you do a mix match? Did you read them out of order? Did you watch The Hobbit and then read The Lord of the Rings and then read The Hobbit? I don't know. Tell me what your journey has been like. I'd love to know. If you like this video, please subscribe. I will definitely make a video as to my experience once I finish the entire journey, and then who knows. Thank you and have a great day.